really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type, but if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up. Really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type, but if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get.
That takes a moment. Alright, let's play this. What the fuck's okay, so it's not playing today. So, let me do it this week for you guys. Let's start off the time now with this. Hold on.
Really hard.
Maybe this.
Radicalize Republicans. Really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type. If you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up.
You know, the head of the household here has been tough, I think, for all of us. But the beautiful part about what we've done and we've been doing is we've been putting our pen to paper this entire time, really focused on what the plan is. Like you mentioned, focused on 2028 and working our way backwards from that, looking at 2032 and working our way backwards. And when you do it, when you take that process, I mean, that's the way that the left does it. When you take that process, you can actually formulate a plan pretty quickly, and that's what we've done with our Chase the Vote initiative.
You know, the really great thing is Charlie was not a guy. You weren't joining because you were a fan of him. I mean, he was teaching principles. Yeah. So the base is principle based.
That's right,
and that's really a healthy thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the core of the elections. 2028 in particular is really focused on the grassroots. Our number one culture point that we have at Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action is what we call grassroots humility. If you focus on the grassroots, then you get candidates that the grassroots wants to work for, and then therefore it kind of builds the program for you. And that's really the beauty of Turning Point. And we
plan is like I wanted to either for you guys, so I'm going to play this real quick.
You know, the head of the household here has been really a healthy thing. Yeah, I mean, that's at the core. The base is principle based. That's right. And that's really a healthy thing. Yeah, I mean, that's at the core of the elections. 2028 in particular is really focused on the grassroots. Our number one culture point that we have at Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action is what we call grassroots humility. If you focus on the grassroots, then you get candidates that the grassroots wants to work for, and then therefore it kind of builds the program for you. And that's really the beauty of Turning Point, and where we felt like we had to step up, really coming out of the 2022 election, when we realized that everybody was not being honest at the what I call the Republican establishment, the core at the I like to call them the evil empire, the National Republican apparatus, the evil empire, whatever you want to call them, but the apparatus itself was kind of lying to people and saying, hey, we've got this handle, we can do this, and red wave, and they didn't show up with anybody. And so we knew, and this is the beauty of Charlie, and what we had done was we had seen the culmination of how many people kind of became disciples at Turning Point, and we knew that we could take that, and we had to take that talent and convert it into action. And so that's what really built the C4 plan heading into 2024.
Sorry for your loss, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Chris. And I just want to say that number is actually at 62,000 new inquiries to start Turning Point chapters now. That broke about 30 minutes ago, so 62,000.
So help me understand, Andrew, put it in context for me. How many chapters, how many students did you have before this tragedy?
Well, we had 900 official recognized college chapters. We had about 1,200 high school chapters. So we were known for the college chapters originally, but then we branched out into high school. And Charlie was so proud when the high school chapter number eclipsed the college chapter number. And we have about a presence on 3,500 altogether, because kids graduate, you got to kind of restart. But to put that in perspective, that's 900, 1,200. Now we're talking 62,000 inquiries to start a chapter. I mean, this has galvanized young people around the country. And Chris, I know that the reach that Charlie was having, because you were on with Patrick Bet-David on the podcast with Charlie. And by the way, Chris, it's worth saying that I asked Charlie after that show, I said, what's Chris like in person? And he spoke very highly of you. He said you were a total gentleman and you were in good faith, and he enjoyed it. So, but in that episode, you'll remember, Chris, that Patrick went through the video count, of all the TikTok videos, 50 million, 60 million, 30 million. And young people maybe got it first, but this was a message that was reaching people of all ages. And it's been really incredible to see that Charlie's fans and supporters around the country, they're not burning buildings, they're not raiding businesses, they're praying, or they're signing up, or they're donating. And I know Charlie would be very proud that that's his legacy.
I know that one of Charlie's quotes has been getting a lot of exercise right now, which is you learn a lot about somebody, how they react to when someone dies. And certainly that's being projected on the whole membership population right now. How does Erica, as the head of the organization, keep it the same, and how does it change it? Do you anticipate that she will take up the mantle of prove me wrong, or do you think you'll use ambassadors for that? I mean, or you not figured it out?
Well, I think Charlie was uniquely Charlie. And Charlie, over time, learned how to apply his unique skill set I mean, he was a 5-tool athlete. There's no replacing Charlie. He could debate. He could speak on stage. He could host a radio and a podcast show, and he could organize. I mean, there's no putting all that back in one person. But Erica is the beating heart and the spiritual center and the life force. You could just feel it. And, Chris, I hope your audience knows this was exactly what Charlie wanted. He had made plans because he was, getting death threats all the time. He knew that there were people that wanted to hurt him. And obviously we took precautions in that way, but he was prepared. And he told me personally, he told members of the board and other executives at the organization that should something happen, that Erica was going to be the person that took over. And he knew, he started dating Erica when his life was already a little crazy. Well, it was a fraction of what it became, obviously, as the years went on. But he knew Erica could handle this type of lifestyle. He knew that she had it in her, and she was incredibly strong and fierce and true and good. And so Erica, she, obviously she wasn't wanting this to happen. She wasn't prepared for this to happen. But in another way, Charlie knew she could handle it.
Look, I get that it makes sense, and I'm sure it'll make sense to a lot of the membership. And look, what we've seen of her so far under the kind of duress to deliver the message she did is remarkable. So are you surprised by all of the additional support, even without Charlie at the head of the organization? And does that change what happens going forward at all?
I think the reaction to Charlie's assassination has been nothing short of miraculous. I see God all over it. I feel sustained by the prayers of this country, Chris. I can't explain it, but I have thousands and thousands of texts of everybody saying they're praying for us and all these prayer vigils. And I think that this has unleashed something. As Erica said, this has ignited something deep within a lot of people that were on the sidelines, a lot of people that were looking on from their couch at home. They want to get off the couch. They want to get off the sidelines, and they want to get involved. And I see it in so many different ways, even orgs within the conservative movement that maybe didn't cooperate as well before. They're all reaching out saying, how can we help? Can we drive donations to Turning Point? Can we lend our talents? Can we lend our skills? What can we do to help? I think that this is a really powerful and unifying moment for a lot of people, and it's beautiful to see.
Well, the more positive it can be kept, the more it's going to fill the need, because we need it right now. I'm very sorry for your loss, and I appreciate you coming on to speak about the organization, and I wish you well going forward.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching.
And then one more.
Is happening in the United States, and I think worldwide too. It's almost as if there were fuel, and the death of Charlie Kirk ignited it. It's not a George Floyd movement at all, or moment. We've talked about that. It's very different. It's building up frustration. It's not a top-down DEI mandate. Thousands of people are commemorating the death of Charlie Kirk. There's no tolerance for the usual left-wing socialist craziness, the abhorrent, violent smears of conservatives who died. We're witnessing large-scale demonstrations in Ireland, Great Britain. The government of France has fallen. There is unrest in the Netherlands. It's a grassroots kind of collective shrug throughout Western civilization. And I guess it could be characterized as enough is enough. Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Something is happening in the United States, and I think worldwide too. It's almost as if there were fuel, and the death of Charlie Kirk ignited it. It's not a George Floyd movement at all, or moment. We've talked about that. It's very different. It's building up frustration. It's not a top-down DEI mandate. It's a grassroots kind of collective shrug throughout Western civilization. And I guess it could be characterized as enough is enough. We're witnessing large-scale demonstrations in Ireland, Great Britain. The government of France has fallen. Mr. Macron will have to appoint a new prime minister. There is unrest in the Netherlands. We used to think during the Cold War that Eastern Europe was supposedly backward politically, under the Soviet sway, economically stagnant. But since the Cold War, and especially lately, the Eastern Europeans seem the most sensible of all Westerners. They believe in tradition, they believe in borders, they believe in legal-only immigration, they believe in fossil fuel development, and they have strong militaries because they've experienced Soviet aggression and German aggression in the past. And yet they also are having a reinforcing moment. What is this moment? We're seeing it in the United States. Thousands of people are commemorating the death of Charlie Kirk. There's no tolerance for the usual left-wing socialist craziness, the abhorrent, violent smears of conservatives who died. And you don't see major bureaucrats or generals or Hollywood figures. Increasingly, they're not coming out and rejoicing because they feel that they're going to get a big pushback. This is not violent. It's just a collective shrug. And what is the shrug, basically? It's saying we're tolerant of people with alternate lifestyles, but whether we like it or not, the nuclear two-parent family for 2,500 years has ensured the survival of Western civilization. It gives us 2 to 3 to 4 children, and we can reproduce the species. We're tolerant of Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism. We have a multi-racial, multicultural population. But whether we like it or not, the foundations of the United States are Judeo-Christian as they are of Western civilization. In general, we have no apologies for that. The Sermon on the Mount is a unique document. We also are tired of what I call boutique anti-Americanism. We see Ilhan Omar suggesting that our elected government is worse than a dictatorship in Somalia. Or we see AOC calling Donald Trump a fascist as she has in the past. Or we see Rashida Tlaib just demonizing and damning the United States, even though the parents fled the Middle East to come here. And we're tired of it. It doesn't mean we're going to outlaw free speech or try to use the same tactics as the critics of America do. But what we're saying is we're a unique place. We're better than the alternative. We don't have to be perfect to be good. So you can say all you want, but we're going to not just ignore you. We're going to do our best to make sure your voices have no influence. And that's why people are taking to the street in Europe. They're saying an open border and illegal immigration brings in millions of people from the Middle East. They have no proven desire that they wish to readily assimilate, integrate into a culture and a civilization that they feel is antithetical to that of their home. And that presents a paradox because they voted with their feet to join the West, but they want to bring their culture and values into the West, which, if they were successful, would mean that the West would look like their homelands of which they have forsaken. Doesn't make sense. But we see the same thing in the United States. We have an open southern border. We're criticized by immigrants that come across. And yet, if we were to embrace the values and culture of Latin America and turn the United States into Latin America, then the immigrants would not wish to leave Latin America to find another Latin America. The left cannot deal with that paradox, but we can on the conservative side. So we're saying open borders does not work. We're saying that if you dismantle natural gas energy, if you dismantle oil, if you dismantle nuclear power, and you choose to subsidize inefficient and unreliable solar and wind, then you're going to be a pre-civilizational society. Germany was the juggernaut of Europe, and now it's pathetic, weakling economically. Why? Because its energy costs are 4 times what they used to be, and it's not a competitive country. So what I'm getting at is people throughout the West say we've sat still where we had open borders. We have let in millions of people that do not like us and do not share our values. We have opted for economic irrationalism, and that has in suicidal.
And there's one more. Hold on, guys, as I pull it up for you. Actually, 2 more, should I say. This is at York, Pennsylvania, during a York, Pennsylvania vigil and prayer for Charlie Kirk. The movement is growing, guys. This is the movement right here in York, Pennsylvania. There was also one in Hanover, Pennsylvania, up the street from me. And this is New York County. We'll talk more about it once I get done here. And then there's this one. Hold on. Let me pull it up. This is a look at these Christians, look at these warriors, look at these patriots, all lined up with candles, praying for Charlie Kirk. The turning point, this is the turning point movement. Alright, so we're back now. What I showed you was what is happening in York, Pennsylvania, what is happening in Pennsylvania, what that Charlie Kirk has sparked. There are now 62,000 chapters total, chapter requests total for our Turning Point USA students and colleges and high schools. It was at 54,000 the other day, now at 62,000. The movement just keeps on growing. Young Gen Z Republicans and college people want to get involved in their elections, want to flip their vote affiliation from Democrat to Republican, want to start going to church. The movement is growing, guys, and it keeps on growing. It's been growing ever since 2022. Why do I say that? Because the Republican Party is growing, not the affiliate voters, but the party is growing 100%. Growing. What I mean by the party is the elected volunteer officials, precinct committeemen and women, and state committeemen and women across Pennsylvania, across the country. They are growing consistently. This is what it looked like. This is what it looked like before. In 2008, well over half of the Republican Party's local committee volunteer voting member slots were vacant from 2010 all the way down to 2020. That was a house strength and ideologically split. No message, no ground game GOTV, get out the vote. Capability, 200,000 precinct committeeman slots. These were vacant. Now they are getting fuller and fuller in the Republican Party. And so we are continuing to see a surge in people getting involved in their county committees and state committees. This is what it could look like. This is how strong the Republican Party could look like. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. Let me edit this for you. Bingo. So, see the difference? This is what it looked like. This is what it could be if we have 18 plus college students and high school seniors getting involved in the local Republican committees across the states. The 100% strength and 75% conservative, 400,000 precinct committeemen. This is what it could look like. Then you got this. You can see it says conservatives could be politically powerful if they united and organized inside the Republican Party committees where they live to fill in the 200,000 Republican Party precinct committee slots in their own voting precinct. That's half of the whole number of 400,000 slots to take over the control of the party. The control from the party, from the establishment, fake Republican do-nothing imposters running it now. And then you got this. Then we go to this. Look, every Republican Party precinct committee slot filled by a volunteer America Firster. To get out the much greater turnout of America First voters. Primary versus general election, America First winners, America First state legislators and governors equals hand-counted paper ballots, no machines, mailed-in paper ballots only for military individuals, mail precincts, one-day election. We have a huge opportunity to kick out these criminal corrupt judges in November. Guys, we need a 40 to 50% voter turnout in Pennsylvania to vacate these judges that are up for re-intention. And with this movement with Charlie Kirk and the mega movement and Charlie Kirk's turning point movement and 62,000 chapters getting involved in Pittsburgh and Hempfield and York County and so forth, they are going to turn out the vote this November. And it's going to be a turning point of the century. It's going to kick out these vacant, corrupt criminal judges. Why do I say these are corrupt criminal judges? Because this is what This is what they have done. Says they violated your constitutional freedoms, locked down schools, churches, and businesses during COVID, shredded your election integrity, twisted laws, enabled unfair redistricting, allowed mail-in ballot returns 3 days in 2020, and removed the Green Party from the ballot in 2020, overturned convictions of sexual predators in Commonwealth court cases, and enjoy lifetime Catholic pensions at your own taxpayer money expense. You got to vote no 3 times. Actually, you got to vote 5 times. It says Pennsylvania Supreme Court is currently composed of 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. We changed that this fall. Let's fire these judges voting no on November 2025. So we can have a special election in 2027 and create a majority before the 2028 presidential election. Who are these 5 judges? These right here. Christine Donahue, David Wetsch, Kevin Doherty, Alice Beck-Dubrow, Michael Wujek. Vote no, 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 no. Here, 5 times in November. Guys, it's time to kick these out. Look, this will show you how they voted right here. It says mail-in ballots 3 days after Election Day in 2020. Kicked the Green Party off the ballot in 2020. Allowed Governor Wolf to shut down PA during COVID. Said this is how they all voted. Take a picture of it, send it to your friends, send it to your family members, and so forth. But this is how they all voted. And this is the turning point in America now, since Charlie Kirk has been assassinated and so forth, is going to carry us this victory and get all Republican conservative candidates on the board come this November 4th, 2025. So we need to get rid of that. We do that. Plus, this is what a non-gerrymandering Pennsylvania would look like. As you can see, Right. It says, here's what non-gerrymandering in Pennsylvania would look like. 13 Republicans, 4 Democrats. This is why we must kick all 3 Democrat justices off the PA Supreme Court this November. Judge Donahue, Judge Wecht, and so forth. This is what it looks like. Down below, as you can see, it's all red except for 2. So that's what we need to focus on right now. We need to stay focused. We need to stay laser focused on this upcoming election, guys, and stay focused on winning and taking back our republic, taking back our commonwealth, taking back our freedoms and our liberties that these corrupt judges have taken from us in 2020. They shut down your schools, they shut down your businesses, they shut down your livelihood, they shut down your churches. In 2020, they took away your religious liberty and freedom to worship, and your livelihood and your money and so forth, and and shut down stores and so forth. Made your kids wear masks and shut down your schools for your kids for months at a time. This is your turn to take back what is yours in 2025 upcoming. We're only about a month or 2 away coming up here in November 4th. So so this turning point is growing. This movement is growing. The mega movement is growing. People are getting involved. Youth is getting involved. It's time that we continue to do this. They have woken us up. They have woken a sleeping lion. They have woken up the lioness, who is Erica Kirk. They have woken. The lioness is now on the hunt, and they have woken angry lions up with the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the assassination attempt of President Donald Trump in July, and so forth. They have woken us up, guys, and we are wide awake. We got to be wide awake to win this come in November 4th and in 2027 when we have a special election and so forth. We need to get out and vote this upcoming election, guys. We need to get involved, and we need to deconstruct the administrative state, deconstruct the courts. We need to kick these criminal, corrupt judges out of office so we can have a majority of 5-2 in the Supreme Court and get back our republic and our commonwealth. This is the people's commonwealth. This is Pennsylvania's commonwealth. We need to continue to do just that. Not only that, but we also have a 2026 election after that, before 2027. It's a governor's election and so forth. And we need to continue to do just that. We need to continue to keep pushing forward. In 2026, we got state committee people up for election and county committee people up for election and so forth. And we need to continue to also run for local positions and on the ballot, like school boards and judge of elections and county recorders and auditors and so forth. Because if you don't, the Democrats surely will. The Democrats will surely be appointed or surely will get elected on those positions and will take it over. We need to take over these positions. We need to have a republic takeover, republic democracy takeover. So we need to continue to take over these positions, take over the elections, and flood the polls come November 4th on this election. But the turning point is going to continue this movement. People are starting to see God. People are starting to go to church. People are starting to flip party affiliations and register Republican more, and that who weren't before. Independents are flipping. Democrats are flipping. College and youth students are asking for a request to start chapters or to join a chapter. This is the movement, guys. Charlie was the spark and Erica is the fire. We are going to win this come November 4th, and we need to continue to do so. Like I said, we need to get involved. They have woken a sleeping lion, like this guy, like Gutfield says, they have woken us the fuck up. Excuse my language, but this is what he says.
Really hard to.
Oh, hold on.
Really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type, but if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up.
As he said, this movement was not shut down, and they're in for a rude awakening. They have woken us up. They have woken a sleeping giant. They have woken a sleeping lion. They have woken up angry lions all across the United States. This is not just happening in the United States. Ireland is into it, and England is into it. They all are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, prayer and vigil, and so forth. And it is coming down to just that. The left is going crazy over it. Jimmy Kimmel just got fired, and so forth. And so we need to continue the movement, guys. We need to continue Charlie's movement. We need to continue. We need to have good Christian conservatives in office, good Christian conservatives going out to vote and voting their values, and so forth. If you're not hearing this, this is exactly what God wants you to do, is to vote your values, live out your faith, live out your faith, live out your conservative values. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to speak up to people. Challenge people on the streets as you talk to them at gas stations, as you talk to them at have conversations with people at gas stations and at grocery stores and movies and wherever you go at work about your values, about God, about theology, about faith, and continue to worship God and our Jesus Savior, and continue to live out your conservative values and so forth. Be bold like Charlie Kirk was, guys, and get out and vote on November 4th, 2025. And it's what Charlie Kirk would want you to do. There is a movement is growing, and it needs to start now. This movement is what is going to carry us through. Well, I have talking for almost about 40 minutes and so forth, so it's time to shut it off. But I wanted to leave you with, I don't think I have anything else here. So anyway, that is all I have for you tonight. As you can tell, I am tired, and but we need to continue to carry this movement out. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Sometime I'll be on sometime tomorrow afternoon, and have a better one for you. But thank you for your time.